So he's starting with a bend on the 10th fret, and he brings the bend back down. So it starts with. So the note that you're shooting for, you want the bend to sound like the note that you would play on 12. So when you do that bend, that's kind of your target pitch there. So we go from, and then 8th fret back to 10, and then we do that bend again, then 8, and then 9 on the G string. For those bends, like, I generally try to do 3 fingers all together because it helps to, like, you know, give a little support to that bend, because it's really hard to do, especially if you have heavy strings on your guitar. If you watch him playing it live, a lot of times he'll do a bend with his index finger, which is really hard to do if you're not, like, super used to doing bends. So you can do it that way, but I generally try to do the 3-finger thing because it's a little easier for me. And then on the live version, sometimes he'll do like a double bend where on the recorded version, you know, he'll just play it like. But then on some of the live ones, he'll do, which sounds really cool. So he's just basically like going up, bringing it down, and then going up again. So it's a really cool sounding bend. And then on his vibrato stuff, he's keeping his finger still, but kind of like rocking his wrist to get the vibrato. But that takes years to get. That's a hard technique. All right, so after all that, the bending section, he's doing a series of slides. Play the 10th fret, and then you do a slide from 10 to 12, and then a slide from 12 to 13. And then on a lot of the tabs online, they have it where it's a slide going from 15 to 17. But on most of the recordings, he's doing a bend. So that ending is. So the whole little line there. We'll do it with the track again. So really slow, that whole part. And then if you want to like improvise and work on like learning how to solo over this, a lot of what he's playing on the melody notes are out of the G major scale. And if you don't know that, like a good way to take it is like one string at a time. So let's actually go through this. Like even if you don't know the scale at all, it's one of those scales like it's not that hard to hear. So with the track, like if you try to just find notes that sound good as you're traveling up the string. So that's just the notes out of the G major scale. So I'll kind of walk you through that. So you could do open, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19, 20, and 22. So again, open, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19, 20, 22. And then you can just practice improvising using those notes. And you can try to mimic his vocal melody. That's like a good kind of starting point for learning how to solo there. You could take any of those notes and try to kind of copy his phrasing, like the bending. And you know, you could throw some slides in there. So again, just all the notes you can use. Open, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19, 20, 22. Then you can do the same thing on each string. I'll give you one more string. So the B string would be open, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15, 17. And then you can just play around with, you know, experimenting with soloing across those two strings. And it's kind of like a fun way to learn your scales, I think. So you can think of that as like a G major scale, if you know G major, or if you know E minor, it's the same notes as E minor. And, you know, that gives you like a little starting point for improvising there over a tune like that. And you can just play along with the song, or there's like plenty of karaoke versions on YouTube. I'm just playing along with like a karaoke version of it. But then coming up next for the chord part, I'll give you a couple different versions of how you can play the chords. Say if you're playing like acoustic guitar and you're not with a band or something, you can do like more full chords. Like the way they're playing it on the song, they're doing like kind of high voicings of the chords, which might not sound good if you're playing it on acoustic. So the chords on acoustic, it would be G. So that would be 3rd fret on the top, 2nd on the A, 3rd fret on the bottom 2, or even 3rd fret just on the bottom. And then the second chord would be D major over F sharp. So I'm playing this F sharp note here on the top string, 2nd fret. I'm using my thumb, kind of bringing my thumb over. And then C major. And then we go to D major. So that's like the whole verse progression there. So it's like a simple starting point. You could even strum each chord once and hold it for 4. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to go fancier with it, you can do, they're kind of doing like arpeggio patterns. So you can even do, like if you're totally new to playing this kind of picking thing, you can pick random strings and just do them one at a time. Like... So I didn't really have a specific pattern there. I was just kind of going randomly. But then if you want to get it a little closer to how they're playing it on the recording, major bar chord. It's my dog. Okay, good boy. Good boy. You're a good boy. It's okay. Good boy. It's okay, buddy. Okay, good boy. He's a little scared of the thunder. It's all right, buddy. It's okay. All right, so I'm going to try to go through this with my dog on my leg. So this chord is basically like the middle part of the G major bar chord. So it's going to be 3rd fret on the B string, 4th fret on the G, 5th fret on the D. We're going to start on the D string, G, B, and then back to the D, and then it goes to the E string going backwards. So that whole little picking pattern is, and then the next chord, it's going to be 4th fret on the D, 2nd on the G, 3rd on the B, and we have pretty much the same pattern. So it's going to be D, G, B, G, and then E, B, G, B. And then they do kind of like the bottom part of the C major chord, so you only need 2 of the fingers there. So those chords again, it's 3, 4, 5. And then we got 4, 2, 3. And then just 2 on the D, 1 on the B. And then the D major chord. Right there on the live version, he ends that phrase a little differently. He throws in this cool little melody. Listen to that again. So that's a real nice ending phrase that he throws in on the live version. So he does a little hammer on and pull off. So he plays the 13 on the B, and then he plays the 12, but then hammers on and then pulls off. So he's only picking the 12, and then you slam your finger down to get the 13, and then pull it down to get the 12 again. And then we go, he kind of rocks his finger up to go to the 12 on the G, and then 14 on the D, 12 on the D. And there he does that double bend again. And then there he's like kind of exaggerates the bend. And then that last bend he kind of exaggerates a little too. The chorus part. So the basic chords there, he's opening it up with like a little single note melody. Open on the A, 2 on the A, and then 3 on the A. And I would use your 3rd finger there because then you can just stay there and go right into C major. And then we go to D major, and then G, and then it's that D major over F sharp, and then E minor, and then it goes C major, then back to D, and then we're back to the verse part again. So again, the little chorus part. C, then back to the verse. Those little trills he's doing, that's a cool thing to throw in if you're working on soloing over this. Listen to that again. So let's say if you're doing this with that, with all those major scale notes. Let me put the track back on. You just do that across the whole major scale. So that little trill pattern is just all hammer-ons and pull-offs. So he'll play, like, for example, if we're doing it on 12, he'll pick the 12 and then pick the 10, but then do a hammer-on and pull-off. So that little pattern, and you could just take that pattern and move it around, like, all through the scale. And then you can try it on the B string. All right, so the bridge part is like pretty much the same as the chorus. C major. And then G, D over F sharp, E minor, and then C, D, then we repeat C and D, and then back to G. So that's pretty much the same as the chorus. I think it's just repeating that C and D at the end an extra time. Other than that, it's the same. So those are like the basic kind of elements of the song. If you want to like experiment with some of that soloing stuff, I'll go through real quick the other strings. So the G major scale on the G string, it would be open 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 19. And then on the D string, open D, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 19, 21. Then the A string, open, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19. And then the top string, open, 2, 3, same as the other E string. Open, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19, 20, 20. Oh, another fun way to practice soloing with this. If you start getting good with the bottom two strings with your soloing, you could try doing, finding the notes, combinations of two notes together that sound good. So you could do that on those two. Then you could take, instead of the B and the E, you could try doing the G and the E. could also do the bottom 3 strings together, which is a little trickier.